Hey guys, it's Camden here, and I'm going to be giving y'all my commemorative speech for the last speech of the class. Um, and I'm going to be talking about Cal Ripken Jr., who is a pretty well known baseball player. He played for the Baltimore Orioles. Um, and just to get started, I'm going to talk a little bit about baseball and how baseball is a sport that has been around for ages. It is America's pastime, and most of us would know some of the greats. You know, the great baseball players that everybody talks about, like Babe Ruth or Hank Aaron or Willie Mays or Barry Bonds. And all these players are known for being outstanding baseball players. Um, in the history of baseball, they've been outstanding and been, the shining stars of baseball. These are the players that draw crowds and get attention from the public. These are the guys who are always being talked about in baseball. And if you could name any baseball player that you can think of that comes to mind that is in this category, who do you think that would be? Well, I can tell you that who you picked probably was not a shortstop. And shortstop, most people think of a shortstop and they're like, oh well, it's a shortstop. But shortstop is one of the most important positions in baseball. It is especially one of the most important defensive positions in baseball. Most of the time when balls are hit off the bat, it goes towards the shortstop, which is between the second baseman and the third baseman. And if you could name any shortstop in any time frame through baseball, who do you think that would be? A great shortstop. Well, I know that I would say Cal Ripken Jr. And Cal Ripken Jr. is one of the most outstanding shortstops of all time. He was born in the 60s in Maryland. He's the son of Cal Ripken Sr., who ended up actually being his coach at one point. He coached the Baltimore Orioles, I think, for around 15 to 20 years. And Cal Ripken Sr. wasn't always the best baseball player. He played in minor leagues and stuff like that, but he taught Cal Ripken Jr., his son, everything he knew. And that's why I think that he became a really good baseball player. He grew up in baseball. He grew up in this sport. And he was loyal to Baltimore. He wasn't born in Baltimore. He was on the outskirts of Baltimore, but Baltimore Orioles were always his team. It was always in his vision. And that's why he only played for the Orioles. He played for the Orioles for 21 seasons. His whole career was at Baltimore. And he was a 19-time All-Star. And through those 21 seasons, he was a World Series champion in 1983, I believe it was. And he was a two-time Golden Glove winner. He was a 7-time Silver Slugger Award winner. And he was also an American League Rookie of the Year in 1982. These are all very big awards in the baseball world, and he received so many of them, and this is why he is considered an outstanding baseball player. Some of his career stats: he had 3,001 games played, which is actually eighth out of all the players ever to play baseball in the MLB. He is eighth for having the highest games played. And he had 11,551 at bats, which is the top four in the MLB. And he had 12,883 plate appearances, which is the sixth categorized, and he's ranked sixth in the MLB for at plate appearances. And he had 3,184 hits, which is ranked 15th out of all the baseball players ever to play MLB. And he had 8,214 assists, which was ranked third out of the MLB baseball players ever. And, these are just some of the stats that I found. There were so many more that he was ranked in, but these are sort of the big name stats in baseball. And he is so high in almost all of them. I mean, the hits, 3,184 hits, he was ranked 15th. But, think about all the baseball players that have ever played in the MLB, and he's ranked that high in all of the big name stats. And that's pretty amazing. And some of his records and honors, he was most consecutive games played. He still holds that. And this was a big thing. He overtook Lou Gehrig's most consecutive games played. And at the game when this happened, he had a 22-minute applaud. People stood up for 22 minutes and clapped, and the game almost stopped. people showed up from everywhere to watch this game because they knew that he was gonna break Lou Gehrig's streak, which was held for a long time, and that's why Cal Ripken Jr. still holds that, because that's a very, very hard record to hold. And he was also in Sports Illustrated, and he was ranked fourth Rookie of the Year. I think it was in 1983, and he is ranked 78th in the top 100. He's ranked 78th of the best baseball players to ever play the game, which is a pretty high stat for a shortstop. I think there was one other shortstop that was in front of him in the top 100. So to be a shortstop and make that ranking is pretty awesome. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2007, and this was also a big feat. Not everybody gets into the Hall of Fame. The great baseball players all get into the Hall of Fame, but for a shortstop, that's a big deal. And he was inducted in 2007. And just like on the field, off the field, Cal Ripken Jr. is a very hard worker. He's devoted to his hometown. He's the pride of the Orioles. Till this day, everyone that knows about the Orioles, everyone that is a fan of the Orioles, always talks about Cal Ripken Jr. He's a family man. He has a wife and 2 kids, and he's a great dad. Everyone that's ever met him or known anything about his family, all the things that they have to say about him are, he's a great dad. That's the one thing that he cares about, his family. And I think that this shows the type of person that he is, on the field and off the field. Everyone that's ever met Cal Ripken Jr. has nothing bad to say about him. He does multiple charity works. For the Baltimore Orioles, he donates tickets to underprivileged kids that can't afford to get tickets on their own. And he also donates to multiple charities around the United States, and a lot in his hometown and in Baltimore, which is awesome. And just to conclude, I think I would say that, even though he wasn't the best baseball player ever, he's still an amazing player and a hard worker on the field and off the field. And I think that this makes him one of the greats. I think that this is why I would put him up there along with some of the greats like Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, and all those guys. So that's really awesome, and I think that Cal Ripken Jr. is a guy that did not fly under the radar for shortstops. So thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.